Well, good evening, everybody. How are you tonight? Good to see you guys. Happy holidays and frosty land everywhere, practically, I'm sure. Boy, it took till pretty late today before we started to thaw out enough to move around, but that's okay. Hi, Linda, and Tamara's here. Yay. And Lupe, yay, I'm so glad you're here. I do not understand what happened, why you got kicked off at 29 minutes last night, or 27 minutes. Completely throws me for a loop. I don't understand that. I'm so glad you're here, though. I'm so glad. Larry's here. Linda, yeah. Maria Christmas. Yes, Maria Christmas. Went shopping in the suit, had a few kids stopped in their tracks. Oh my gosh. Kristen! Yay, Kristen's here. Let me just check something here. I got to check on. Let's see if I have. Oh my goodness, I got. Okay, I got Tamara's. And Kristen, you said you sent yours again? I do not understand what's going on. Susan and Anna, Lauren Smith. I wonder if it's going. Let me check. Nope, not there. Not there. Not there. Oh, well. Well, you know what? We'll get there. I'm going to do a couple things first. And it's just been one of those days. It's a good day. It is a good day. So there's Kristen and Linda. And I did send again. My goodness. Okay. Kristen, there it is. Here. Woohoo! Found it. There it is. Got it. Yes. And I got Tamara's. Okay. So we'll pull those in. I'll probably pull those in a little differently than I normally do just because I didn't see it set it up. But that's okay. We're saying hey, we'll still get to see everybody's Lupe. Feliz Navidad. I sent you stuff. Yeah, Tamara, I just saw yours too. So we're going to look at those. First thing, I am just going to add a scene here. Right here, and I've got it blank, and then we're going to first pull in, oops, here we go, and we are going to pull in, there we go. These are from Kristen. She did a couple of way cool wreaths with ribbons and cards, and oh my gosh, did you say anything? Here's a couple more. Sent 3 Christmas ones before this. Hopefully received them. Okay, let me look. Kristen Tyree. Okay, I'll just look for her name. So these are. Oh, there's her other ones. I see them now. Okay, so these are Kristen's first ones that she just sent. Okay, I have to tell you, Kristen. I'm really jealous because doing these kind of bows, I've only one time ever accomplished it, and that was with one of those bow making machines. So if you tell me you have a bow making machine, it will make me feel extremely great. If not, if you do it just by hand, I'm just going to go, oh my gosh. Yeah. But no, those are beautiful. Oh, what's with Gail? What's going on? What's wrong with Gail? Did I miss something? Is she sick? Oh, no. That's not good. I know. Aren't they gorgeous? Okay. So those are those. I'll get those. And then she's got here. Okay. Oh, here. This is another wreath she did. Here we go. I've got him. Come on in. Come on. There it is. Oh, it turned sideways. Why did you turn sideways on me? What can I do? Can I rotate it? Why did it do that? I don't know. I can't rotate that. It came in. I pulled it off. Here, let me try it one more time. I'm just pulling it off of her email. Comes in looking normal there. Yay, there it's straight. I must have done something. There we go. There's that one. And here is another one. Oh, see, I'm getting kind of wild with my adjustment size there. And how big is the last one? Okay, we will shrinking these down a bit so I can get the third one in. Yes. Come on. Oh, there it is. Okay. Look at these wreaths. Oh my gosh. Never in a million years. I mean, look at that. I love them. They're so, so pretty. Just so pretty. Wow. That is a talent. Definitely. And then, okay, and then we have, oh dear, uh-oh. All right, so now we have Tamra, and she says, I hope all is well with you and your loved ones. Happiness. Here are 3 samples with the Japanese wash ready to use for the next art pieces. Okay, so these are like backgrounds that you're going to do? Oh my goodness. So you've just been doing washes? I mean, these are just the background washes. Have you ever watched Sarah Taylor, Modern Art? Sarah Taylor she lives in Idaho, and she sometimes will do a background wash on hers before she does fluid art. Always just astounds me. Cool, look at these. You know, I would be happy just to have one of these to look at in the morning. You know, that's the kind of thing I could focus on in the morning before coffee. Those are beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The color blending, the color choices. This one is all ready for a sea scene and everything. Oh my goodness. It is gorgeous. Okay, now we will hide that one, and hide that one, and then we will see what Larry has. Uh-oh. Shenanigans. Ah, Larry's been dressing up. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, Larry, look at you. How awesome is that? I bet you did turn a few heads with that. I sent you another piece that is work in progress. Oh, okay. And then I've got another one of Tamara's too. She sent me another one that was work in progress. So we'll get this. So we've got Larry, and then we've got Tamara's. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love these works in progress because it gives me a chance to see what I would not normally see. I don't see this kind of part of it. that just the 2? Yeah, those 2 on that. Is this the same, or are there differences between these, Tamara, or is it just your lighting? Let's see. She says, oh, here it is. This is another piece, sample work in progress, but I have chosen this piece to do on a large canvas now. The background looks dark because it's moonlight, summer solstice. The base is, oh, that's summer solstice for you. It was winter solstice for us. Our daylight time is down to like 7 hours. So we're planning our trip to the coast. It doesn't take that long really to get there normally without pulling the trailer, but with pulling the trailer and with the weather that we've got, we're planning and having to stop. We're planning on about 3.5 hours to get to where we are, get parked and everything. With only 7 hours of sunlight during the day, or of daylight during the day, that means we have to get hooked up, get going, get moving, and get on the road. The base is fine canvas with acrylic wash, Japanese style. While it was still wet, I crunched up the bottom half to get texture. Then when it was dry, I dried brushed the textured area of the canvas with the acrylic paint colors that I used on the collaged paper. All the collage to be glued is handmade paper. I really love this piece. I have been doing these smaller pieces to choose one for a large canvas, and I'm happy with this piece, I think. The lines across the canvas came up with the photo. They are not on the painting. Okay, I don't see them. I sent 2 images of a lighter version to show different aspects and some details, the darker piece, which is truly the color of the painting. Oh. Now that I look at the 2 of them, the darker and the lighter, I don't know what you guys think. I think I like the darker one. At first I thought I liked the lighter one because of the illuminance that she had, but I actually like the little bit darker one because it makes me look further and some things reflect in the contrast there. Yeah. Once I looked twice or 3 times. Wow. Wow, Tamara. Okay, you guys. Talented people. Cheers to Tamara and Kristen and Larry. Larry, you make a great Santa. Hoo-hoo. Let's get a little bit of here we go. Yay for everybody. So tonight, I know I said I was going to read. Oops, what was that? Update system audio. Cancel that. What is all? That's my desktop. You guys suddenly got my desktop. That's kind of crazy. That wasn't the scene I meant to show you. How about going back to, here. That's where we go. That's my other desktop. Yeah, you guys got to see a whole bunch of stuff. So I know I said I was going to read Christmas Trolls, and just not feeling it. I don't, but I found something that I think that you guys will absolutely love, and I called it Santa and Bilbo, Forever Friends, because the book that I found is not well known as a Christmas story or as a Christmas book. And the author is not well known for his light and fluffy kind of books. Tolkien had, this is by JRR Tolkien, and it is very different. But he had such a lighter side actually to him that this is a pretty amazing, because The Hobbit, he originally wrote The Hobbit for his 8-year-old nephew, I think it was. And that was the first child. I mean, that was the child that he wrote it for to do. And then went on. And of course, the whole Ring series gets darker and darker. And if you've read any of the Silmarillion or any of the other ones in the whole Middle Earth land that he did, they're pretty dark in a lot of ways. I wore a red plaid hunting cap style with a white fleece on the sides and my own gray blonde hair and beard. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Dark one too. I'm enamored with your work. It'll be glowing it today. Oh gosh. Oh, Linda, I'll look. Let me check. Linda. Oh, nope, you didn't. I just forgot to look for it. Didn't see it. So let's go back. We will go back and do Linda's too, and then we'll get to the story. So Linda's got one. Thank you, Linda, for bringing it up. Oh my goodness. Dragons! Dragons! Oh my goodness. Goodness, goodness, goodness. You know me and dragons. Oh, they are singing tonight. Yes. Okay. So she sent these. Look at these, you guys. I love it. I absolutely love it. They are cool. So make him bigger. Embiggen him there. I love the way you did the scales on this one on the left. On the bottoms of the wings. That's always I think fits. And underneath his tail, his ridges under his tail. And then this other one, oh yes. That one. This part on the rock, it looks like rocks, and then that fire underneath it. Yeah. Oh, these are gorgeous, Linda. Thanks, Linda, for reminding me. You didn't forget to put live art on yours. I just missed it. You guys have to keep on top of me. Yeah. I went darker one. Gray. I did send my dragon again, girl. You know you got it. He's way cuter than his own beard. Is it Bilbo Baggins? Yes. Yeah. Wowzers, Linda. Yep. Super fun the way to use the resin bubbles. Is that what that is? Is that on canvas? Let's make it bigger. See. Whoa, that's the wrong way to make it bigger. I think it is on. Is it on canvas or is it on a board? No, it's on canvas. There, I can see the canvas right there. Very cool. Wow. So awesome. How's that? You know, all of you guys have such different styles and such different work, and everything is so, so beautiful. Before I get distracted easily down here sometimes. Today I couldn't find something that I needed, and it was very frustrating. And then I found it, which was good. But in the meantime, while I couldn't find things, it started me hunting through stuff. And so you can't, let me go to, so it started me hunting through stuff. And when you're hunting through stuff to find something that's really right in front of your nose, a bunch of other stuff shows up. And I had this basket of stuff that I was going to sort. So I sat down and decided to sort it after I found what I was looking for. And it turned out that this has been a basket that I've been throwing sketches and art and stuff that I've done here on this and done different things just because I didn't have a place for it. So I had a huge stack of just paper and junk and things that I thought was important, but I realized I haven't looked at it in forever. It's not important. And that was ready to go for the fireplace. But then I have this whole stack of art of things that I've done here on the show and over the past year. So that's kind of sitting over there. And I think next week when I get back from the coast, on one of the story nights, I'm going to just share bits and pieces with it, kind of as a reflection of where I've come on my art journey. You guys, if you get a chance to do that for yourself, do that. Go back through your sketchbooks, go back through your things and see how far you've come. It's really amazing to see what this art journey does for us and to go back and reflect on it. Next week will be a good week for that. And dragons don't mind being weird, Linda. They're just fun. They have all sorts of ways and means. Yep. So back to the story. Anyway, Tolkien wrote The Hobbit as originally was a story for his nephew, who was only 8. So you got to understand, that's how the age level of reading was expected back then. He also had a complete to scale model of Middle Earth that he built in a shed on his property in a workshop. Tolkien was really amazing as a way, but he's most well known for the science fiction, the fantasy type books that he did, and the darker level that they went to, and all of that. Hi, Helen. Nice to have you here. Yay. So, but this book is completely different, shows an entirely different side of him. And it's called Letters from Father Christmas. And you might be aware of it, you might not be, but I'm going to read the introduction to you and how it came about, because it wasn't intended to be a book. It came about in a whole nother fashion. So, to the children of JRR Tolkien, the interest and importance of Father Christmas extended beyond his filling of their stockings on Christmas Eve. For he wrote a letter to them every year in which he described in words and pictures his house, his friends, the events hilarious or alarming at the North Pole. The first of the letters came in 1920, when John, the eldest, was 3 years old. And for over 20 years, through the childhoods of the 3 other children, Michael, Christopher, and Priscilla, they continued to arrive each Christmas. Sometimes the envelopes, dusted with snow and bearing polar postage stamps, were found in the house on the morning after his visit. Sometimes the postman brought them, and the letters that the children wrote themselves vanished from the fireplace when no one was about. As time went on, Father Christmas's household became larger, and whereas at first little is heard of anyone else except the North Polar Bear, later on there appear snow elves, red gnomes, snowmen, cave bears, and the polar bear's nephews, Paksu and Valkotukuk, who came on a visit and never went away. But the polar bear remained Father Christmas's chief assistant and the chief cause of the disasters that led to muddles and deficiencies in the Christmas stockings. And sometimes he wrote on the letters his comments in angular capitals. Eventually, Father Christmas took on as a secretary an elf named Ilbereth, and in the later letters, elves play an important part in the defense of Father Christmas's house and store cellars against attacks by goblins. In this book are presented numerous examples of Father Christmas's shaky handwriting, and almost all the pictures that he sent are here reproduced, and also included is the alphabet that the polar bear devised from the goblin drawings on the walls of the caves where he was lost, and the letter that he sent to the children written in it. So, here is Letters from Father Christmas. And let's see. Oh, there goes my wallet again. She says, I got the timelines back. What? Oh, yes. He was C.S. Lewis. They were. They were not. They were. They taught at the same university. They were about 30 years difference in age. But it is C.S. Lewis who is basically responsible for JRR Tolkien continuing to write the Lord of the Rings series, because he wrote The Hobbit and he wasn't going to write anymore. He didn't think that there was going to be any interest in it. And C.S. Lewis basically told him he was nuts, that he needed to write more. Timeline backwards? Oh. Yeah, Cajun Night Before and Night After Christmas will come after Christmas. So we'll do that. Dang it. All right. So here is the first from Father Christmas. And it's an illustration, as you can see in it. And it's, so Tolkien also did the illustrations for this book, which is pretty amazing. Oops, some cut books in the way over here. Let's see. Slide this. Can I make this any bigger for you guys? Maybe a little bit. Yay. Yeah, I'll pull it out there. There. So you can see. So you see there's a picture of me and then my house that he sent. So this is the first one in 1920. Mrs. Tolkien and Master John Francis Rule Tolkien, Alfred Street, S.E. Giles, Oxford, England. Oh, my goodness. Okay, close that. So let me open something else so that I can read this off of my phone and you guys can still see. There we go. Got that. Here we go. So 22nd of December, 1920. Dear John, I heard you asked Daddy what I was like and where I lived. I have drawn me and my house for you. Take care of the picture. I am just off now for Oxford with my bundle of toys, some for you. Hope I shall arrive in time. The snow is very thick at the North Pole tonight. Your loving Father Christmas. That beautiful handwriting. I mean, I just love how he did the shaky handwriting. 1923. Master John Francis Tolkien, Harkness Terrace, Woodhouse Lane, Leeds. And this one, you see the North Pole post on the envelope. December 23rd, 1923. My dear John, it is very cold today, and my hand is very shaky. I am 7 years old on Christmas Day, lots older than your great-grandfather. So I can't stop the pen wobbling, but I hear that you are getting so good at reading that I expect you will be able to read my letter. I send you lots of love and lots for Michael too. And lots bricks too, which are called that because they are lots more for you to have next year if you let me know in good time. I think they're the early Legos. I looked them up. They're pretty cool. I think they are prettier and stronger and tidier than Pick-a-Bricks, so I hope you like them. Now I must go. It is a lovely, fine night, and I have got hundreds of miles to go before morning. There is such a lot to do. A cold kiss from Father Nicholas Christmas. 1924. Master Michael Hilary Ruel Tolkien. Another one, North Pole, the stamp. I love these envelopes. They're a work of art in and of themselves. December 23rd, 1924. Dear John, hope you have a happy Christmas. Only time for a short letter. My sleigh is waiting. Lots of new stockings to fill this year. Hope you will like Station and Things. A big kiss with love from Father Christmas. Dear Michael Hillary, I am very busy this year. No time for letter. Lots of love. Hope the engine goes well. Take care of it. Big kiss with love from Father Christmas. So some years he gave them letters to both the kids, or to all the kids. Some it was time it was to all of them. Here's another one, 1925. Masters John and Michael Tolkien. They got a joint letter that year. Oh my goodness. My dear boys, I am dreadfully busy this year. It makes my hand more shaky than ever when I think of it, and not very rich. In fact, awful things have been happening, and some of the presents have got spoilt. And I haven't got the North Polar Bear to help me. And I have had to move house just before Christmas. So you can imagine what a state everything is in. And you will see why I have a new address and why I can only write one letter between you both. It all happened like this. One very windy day last November, my hood blew off and stuck on top of the North Pole. I told him not to, but the North Polar Bear climbed up to the thin top to get it down, and he did. The pole broke in the middle and it fell on the roof of my house, and the North Polar Bear fell through the hole it made into the dining room with my hood over his nose, and all the snow fell off the roof into my house and melted and put out all the fires and ran down into the cellars where I was collecting this year's presents, and the North Polar Bear's leg got broken. He is well again now, but I was so cross with him that he says he won't try to help me again. I expect his temper is hurt and will be mended by next Christmas. I send you a picture of the accident and of my new house on the cliffs above the North Pole, with beautiful cellars in the cliffs. If John can't read my old shaky writing, 1,925 years old, he must get his father to. When is Michael going to learn to read and write his own letters to me? Lots of love to you both and Christopher, whose name is rather like mine. That's all. Goodbye, Father Christmas. There's the picture that he drew for them. Oops, go back. I don't know. See it any bigger? How the North Pole broke, and there's the North Polar Bear falling with the hat in his hand. Oops. Oh, go back. And all through the house, and there's Santa, of course, with his hands up, Father Christmas, and then there's the new house on the cliff. But there is the North Pole has been re-erected there. It's an actual North Pole. I love that. Oops. Sorry. Where did that go? Hang on. I'm missing something. I lost something. Camera. I need a... New camera overlay, it's marked 6. There we go. Oops, that's what I was supposed to do. Sorry. You guys, just hang on. I faffing about here. Got the wrong thing. Come on. I need a circle, a little circle there. And it needs to be little so you can see where. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now this is the PS from the North Polar Bear. P.S. Father Christmas was in great hurry. Told me to put in one of his magic wishing crackers. As you pull, wish and see if it doesn't come true. Excuse thick writing, I have a fat paw. I help Father Christmas with his packing. I live with him. I am the great polar bear. I love that. I just love it. 1926. A little more traditional type stamp. My dear boys, I am more shaky than usual this year. The North Polar Bear's fault. It was the biggest bang in the world and the most monstrous firework there has ever been. It turned the North Pole black and shook all the stars out of place. Broke the moon into four, and the man in it fell into my back garden. He ate quite a lot of my Christmas chocolates before he said he felt better and climbed back to mend it and get the stars tidy. Then I found out that the reindeer had broken loose. They were running all over the country, breaking reins and ropes and tossing presents up in the air. They were all packed up to start, you see. Yes, it only happened this morning. It was a sleigh load of chocolate things, which I always send to England early. I hope yours are not badly damaged. But isn't the North Polar Bear silly? And he isn't a bit sorry. Of course he did it, you remember. I had to move last year because of him. The tap for turning on the Aurora Borealis fireworks is still in the cellar of my old house. The North Polar Bear knew he must never touch it. I only let it off on special days like Christmas. He says he thought it was cut off since we moved. Anyway, he was nosing around the ruins this morning. Soon after breakfast, he hides things to eat there, and turned on all the northern lights for 2 years in one go. You have never heard or seen anything like it. I have tried to draw a picture of it, but I am too shaky to do it properly, and you can't paint fizzing light, can you? I think the polar bear has spoilt the picture rather, of course. He can't draw with those great fat paws. Rude. I can and write without shaking. By going and put a bit of his... what's he say? Does that say rude? Oh, he says rude. I can't. Oh, the polar bear down there in his red writing down there says rude. I can and write without shaking. And it's, by going and putting a bit of his own about me, chasing the reindeer and him laughing. He did laugh too. So did I when I saw him trying to draw a reindeer and inking his nice white paws. So this says, Father Christmas had to hurry away and leave me to finish. He is old and gets worried when funny things happen. You would have laughed too. I think it is good of me laughing. It was a lovely firework. The reindeer will run quick to England this year. They are still frightened. I must go and help pack. I don't know what Father Christmas would do without me. He always forgets a lot of packing I do for him. The snowman is addressing our envelopes this year. He is Father Christmas's gardener. But we don't get much but snowdrops and frost ferns to grow here. He always writes in white, just with his finger. A Merry Christmas to you from North Polar Bear, and love from Father Christmas to you all. Let's see if he did that picture. Whoopsie, yes. Here, it's coming back. There it is. I think that's the... You can see there's the Aurora Borealis. He called it Aurora Borealis. It got turned on. And it's exploding. You can see them running across in the banner underneath with the sleds. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Wednesday, December 21st, 1927. There's a reindeer. Oh, delivered by Reindeer Post. Another one. So the only way I can read this is they have it written out, and that's why I'm reading it off my phone here. Cliff House, top of the world, near the North Pole, Wednesday, December 21st, 1927. My dear people, there seem to get more and more of you every year. I get poorer and poorer, and still I hope that I have managed to bring you all something you wanted. Though not everything you asked for, Michael and Christopher. I haven't heard from John this year. I suppose he is growing too big and won't even hang up his stockings soon. It has been so bitter at the North Pole lately that the North Polar Bear has spent most of his time asleep and has been less use than usual this Christmas. Everybody does sleep most of the time here in winter, especially Father Christmas. Yes, see, he writes that. Great Bear writes that in there along the side. The North Pole became colder than any cold thing ever has been. And when the North Polar Bear put his nose against it, it took the skin off. Now it is bandaged with red flannel. Why did he? I don't know, but he is always putting his nose where he oughtn't to be. Into my cupboards, for instance. That's because I'm hungry. Also, it has been very dark here since winter began. We haven't seen the sun, of course, for 3 months, but there are no northern lights this year. You remember the awful accident last year. There will be none again until the end of 1928. The North Polar Bear has got his cousin and distant friend, the Great Polar Bear, to shine extra bright for us. And this week I have hired a comet to do my packing by. But it doesn't work as well. The North Polar Bear has not really been any more sensible this year. I have been perfectly sensible and have learnt to write with the pen in my mouth instead of a paintbrush. Yesterday, he went snowballing the snowman. He was snowballing the snowman in the garden and pushed him over the edge of the cliff so that he fell into my sleigh at the bottom and broke lots of things. One of them was himself. I used some of what was left of him to paint my white picture. We shall have to make ourselves a new gardener when we are less busy. The man in the moon paid me a visit the other day, a fortnight ago exactly. He often does about this time, as he gets lonely in the moon, and we make him a nice little plum pudding. He is so fond of things with plums in them. His fingers were cold as usual, and the North Polar Bear made him play snapdragons to warm them. Of course, he burnt them, and then he licked them, and then he liked the brandy, and then the bear gave him lots more, and he went fast asleep on the sofa. Then I went down into the cellars to make crackers, and he rolled off the sofa, and the wicked bear pushed him underneath and forgot all about him. He can never be away a whole night from the moon, but he was this time. I have never been expected to look after the man in the moon before. I was very nice to him, and he was very comfy under the sofa. Suddenly the snowman, he wasn't broken then, rushed in out of the garden next day, just as after tea time, and said the moon was going out. The dragons had come out and were making an awful smoke and smother. We rolled him out and shook him, and he simply whizzed back up, but it was ages before he got things quite cleared up. I believe he had to let loose one of his simply terrificalist freezing magics before he could drive the dragons back into their holes. And that is why it got so cold down here. Oh, he's talking about the dragon in the moon. So if you turn an image of the moon on its side, it looks like a dragon. I'll just have to show you. I have a picture of that. I'll have to show you sometime. The polar bear only laughs when I tell him it's his fault, and he curls up on my hearthrug and won't do anything but snore. My messengers told me that you have somebody from Iceland staying with you. That is not so far from where I live and nearly as cold. People don't hang stockings up there, and I usually pass by in a hurry, though I sometimes pop down and leave a thing or two for their very jolly Christmas trees. As usual, my way down through Norway, Denmark, Germany, Switzerland, and then back through Germany, northern France, Belgium, and so into England. And on the way home, I pass over the sea and sometimes Iceland, and I can see the twinkling lights faint in the valleys under the mountains. But I go by quick, as my reindeers gallop as hard as they can there. They always say that they are frightened of a volcano or a geyser will go off underneath them. This must be all. I have written you a very long letter this year, and there was nothing to draw but dark and snow and stars. Love to you all and happiness next year. Your loving Father Christmas. I see. Look at that. I know. I'm looking back here. Okay. Anyway, yeah, the calligraphy, the writing they had, I mean, just, it's pretty awesome. That was a long one. Okay. What is this one? Your loving Father. Oh, this was the dark. Didn't have much to draw, that it was just so dark because he rolled the man in the moon under the chair, under the sofa. And they're his cousin, the Great Bear. And they have Ursa Major, the Big Dipper up there, who's the polar bear's cousin in it. That was so clever. This one, special messenger, very urgent, the Tolkien's 1928. Dear, who's he? It says on the front, dear, not my fault. Father Christmas forgot to send this and he could not find any stamps on the front of it. Oh my goodness. Another Christmas and I am another year older, and so are you. I feel quite well all the same. Very nice of Michael to ask, and not quite so shaky. But that is because we have all got the lighting and heating right again after the cold, dark year we had in 1927. You remember about it. And I expect you remember whose fault it was. What do you think the poor dear old bear has been and done this time? Nothing as bad as letting off all the lights. Only fell from top to bottom of the main stairs on Thursday. He left the soap on the stairs, not me. We were beginning to get the first lot of parcels down out of the storerooms into the hall. Polar Bear would insist on taking an enormous pile on his head, as well as lots on his arms. Bang, rumble, clatter, crash, awful moanings and growlings. I ran out onto the landing and saw he had fallen from top to the bottom onto his nose, leaving a trail of balls, bundles, parcels, and things all the way down. And he had fallen on top of some and smashed them. I hope you got none of these by accident. I have drawn you a picture of it all. Polar Bear was rather grumpy at my drawing it. Of course, naturally. He says my Christmas picture always makes fun of him and that one year he will send one drawn by himself of me being idiotic. But of course I never am, and he can't draw well enough. Yes, I can. I drew the flag at the end. He joggled my arm and spoilt the little picture at the bottom of the moon, laughing and Polar Bear shaking his fist at it. When he had picked himself up, he ran out of the doors and wouldn't help clear up because I sat on the stairs and laughed as soon as I found there was not much damage done. That is why the moon smiled, but the part showing Polar Bear angry was cut off because he smudged it. But anyway, I thought you would like a picture of the inside of my new house. Let's see if he has the picture here for you guys to see. There it is. For a change, the Sheaf Hall is under the largest dome, where we pile the presents, usually ready to load on the sleighs at the doors. Polar Bear and I built it nearly all ourselves and laid all the blue and mauve tiles. The banisters and roof are not quite straight. Not my fault. Father Christmas did the banisters. But it doesn't really matter. I painted the pictures on the walls of the trees and stars and suns and moons. Then I said to Polar Bear, I shall leave the frieze, Frieze, to you. He said, I should have thought there was enough frieze outside, and your colors inside, all purply gray and bluey, pale greeny, are cold enough too. I said, don't be a silly bear, do your best. There's a good old polar bear. And what a result. Icicles all around the hall to make a frieze. Freez. I wonder if he has that picture. Oh, nope. Whoops. Come on. Not there. Back it up. Back. Back. There. I hope you will like the things I'm bringing. Nearly all of you asked for lots of other little things you didn't, and which I thought of at the last moment. I hope you will share the railway things and farm and animals often, and not think they are absolutely only for the one whose stocking they are in. Take care of them, for they are some of my very best things. Love to Chris, love to Michael, love to John, who must be getting very big as he doesn't write to me anymore, so I simply had to guess paints. I hope they were all right. Polar Bear chose them. He says he knows what John likes because John likes bears. Your loving Father Christmas. And my love, Polar Bear. And this is Boxing Day, 1928. I'm frightfully sorry. I gave this to the polar bear to post, and he forgot all about it. We found it on the hall table today. But you must forgive him. He has worked very hard for me and is dreadfully tired. We have had a very busy Christmas. Very windy here. It blew several sleighs over before they could start. Love again, Father Christmas. 1929. Oh, look at this. Look at the calligraphy, the letter, the writing, the stamps. This is from the polar bear. November 1929. I like letters and think Christopher's are nice. The P.S. Dear boys, my paw is better. I was cutting Christmas trees when I heard it. Don't you think my writing is much better too? Father Christmas is very busy already. So am I. We have had heavy snow, and some of our messengers got buried and some lost. That is why you have not heard lately. Love to John for his birthday. Father Christmas says my English spelling is not good. I can't help it. We don't speak English here. Only Arctic, which you don't know. We also make our letters different. I have made mine like Arctic letters for you to see. We always write for T, and a V for you. So like a little tree. He shows how he writes them, which is some Arctic language, which means goodbye till I see you next and hope it will be soon. And then he says it in Arctic, which is Maramesta ni velate ento yarato nia. And PB. My real name is Karhu, but I don't tell most people. P.S. I like letters and think Christopher's are nice. Look at the letters that they wrote. The picture. I love it. Okay, let me see. We'll probably get through maybe 1930 tonight. A couple more. Save the rest for after Christmas because they're pretty spectacular. I don't want to keep you guys up too late. I know it's busy. Oh, look at this one. Top of the world, North Pole, Christmas, Xmas, 1929. He even writes Xmas back then. Dear boys and girls, it is a light Christmas again. I am glad to say the northern lights have been especially good. There is a lot to tell you. You have heard that the great polar bear chopped his paw when he was cutting Christmas trees. His right one. I mean, not his left. Of course, it was wrong to cut it, and a pity, too, for he spent a lot of the summer learning to write letters so as to help me with my winter letters. We had a bonfire this year to please the polar bear, to celebrate the coming in of winter. The snow elves let off all the rockets together, which surprised us both. I have tried to draw you a picture of it, but really there are hundreds of rockets. You can't see the elves at all against the snow background. The bonfire made a hole in the ice and woke up the great seal, who happened to be underneath. The polar bear let off 20,000 silver sparklers afterwards, used up all my stock, so that is why I had none to send you. Then he went for a holiday to North Norway and stayed with a woodcutter called Olaf and came back with paw all bandaged just at the beginning of our busy times. There seem more children than ever in England, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Germany, which are the countries I especially look after, and of course North America and Canada. Not to speak of getting stuff down to the South Pole for children who expect to be looked after, though they have gone to live in New Zealand or Australia or South Africa or China. It is a good thing clocks don't tell the same time all over the world, or I would never get round. Although when my magic is strongest at Christmas, I can do about 1,000 stockings a minute. If I have it all planned out beforehand, you could hardly guess the enormous piles of lists I make out. I seldom get them mixed. But I am rather worried this year. In my office and pack room, the polar bear reads out names while I copy them down. We had awful gales here, worse than you did, tearing clouds of snow to a million tatters, screaming like demons, burying my house almost up to the roofs. Just at the worst, the polar bear said it was stuffy and opened a north window before I could stop him. You can guess the result. The North Polar Bear was buried in papers and lists, but that did not stop him laughing. Also, all my red and green ink was upset, as well as black, so I'm writing in chalk and pencil. I have some black ink left, and the polar bear is using it to address parcels. I liked all of your letters. Very much indeed, my dears. Nobody or very few write so much or so nicely to me. I'm specially pleased with Christopher's card and his letters, and with his learning to write, so I am sending him a fountain pen and also a special picture for himself. It shows me crossing the sea on the upper north wind, while a southwest gale, reindeer hate it, is raising a big waves below. This must be all now. I send you all my love. One more stocking to fill this year. I hope you will like your new house and the things I bring you. Your old Father Christmas. And the picture is right there. Oh my goodness. So that brings us up to 1930 in this book, and it goes on to 1943, I think, is when it ends. Let me check. Yeah, 1943. So I am... Did I make it? Oh, I didn't even make it halfway. I'll do 2 more. And then I'll be halfway through, and then we can read the rest on the other night. 2 more. Okay. Look at that. I wonder. See, because this is by messenger came. Priscilla hasn't even been born yet, or she's not getting in on the letters yet. 1930. November 28th, 1930. Father Christmas has got all your letters. What a lot, especially from Christopher and Michael. Thank you, and also Reddy and your bears and other animals. I'm just beginning to get awfully busy. Let me know more about what you specially want. Polar Bear sends his love. He is just getting better. He has had whooping cough. Father Nicholas Christmas. Then, top of the world, North Pole Christmas 1930. Not finished until Christmas Eve, December 24th. My dears, I have enjoyed all your letters. I'm dreadfully sorry there has been no time to answer them, and even now I have not time to finish my picture for you properly or to send you a full long letter like I mean to. I hope you will like your stockings this year. I tried to find what you asked for, but the stores have been in rather muddle. You see, the polar bear has been ill. He had whooping cough first of all. I could not let him help with the packing and sorting, which begins in November, because it would simply be awful if any of my children caught polar whooping cough and barked like bears on Boxing Day. So I had to do everything myself in the preparations. Of course, Polar Bear has done his best. He cleaned up and mended my sleigh and looked after the reindeer while I was busy. That is how the really bad accident happened. Early this month, we had a most awful snowstorm, nearly 6 feet of snow, followed by an awful fog. The poor polar bear went out to the reindeer stables and got lost and nearly buried. I did not miss him or go to look for him for a long while. His chest had not got well from whooping cough, so this made him frightfully ill, and he was in bed until 3 days ago. Everything has gone wrong, and there has been no time to look after my messengers properly. Aren't you glad the polar bear is better? We had a party of snowboys, sons of the snowmen, which are the only sort of people that live near. Not, of course, men made of snow, though my gardener, who is the oldest of all the snowmen, sometimes draws a picture of a made snowman instead of writing his name. And polar cubs, the polar bear's nephews, on Saturday as soon as he felt well enough. He didn't eat much tea, but then the big cracker went off after, and he threw away his rug and leaped in the air and has been well ever since. I've drawn you pictures of everything that happened. Polar Bear telling his story after all the tea things had been cleared away. Me finding Polar Bear in the snow. Come on. There. And Polar Bear sitting with his feet in hot mustard and water to stop him shivering. It didn't, and he sneezed so terribly he blew 5 candles out. Still, he is all right now. I know because he has been at his tricks again, quarreling with the snowman, my gardener, and pushing him through the roof of his snow house, and packing lumps of ice instead of presents in naughty children's parcels. That might be a good idea, only he never told me, and some of them, with ice, were put in warm storerooms and melted all over good children's presents. Well, my dears, there's a lot more I should like to say about my green brother and my father, old Grandfather Yule, and why we were both called Nicholas after the saint whose day is December 6th, who used to give secret presents, sometimes throwing purses of money through the window. But I must hurry away. I am late already, and I am afraid you may not get this in time. Kisses to you all, Father Nicholas Christmas. P.S. Chris has no need to be frightened of me. And that's where I'm going to stop tonight with the story, with the book. It's just, I just had to share it with you guys. It's just such a cool, the way it's done. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Let me see. There we go. Yeah. So, I love that this whole, all the Father Christmas and the way it's just, how how he did this for 20 years, these letters that he wrote and the whole stories. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the part where the polar bear was lost amongst the goblins, which is all to come. I mean, I just think it's so cool. It's completely kind of different, and it's a delight for me to be able to read it to you guys, because it's not necessarily the kind of books that if I read it to kids that they always appreciate. They don't really appreciate the calligraphy or the old pictures necessarily. They might get the story, but it's kind of, but you guys get that whole thing. Anyway, he does really engage you, and you get really invested in his. Tolkien had that way. He and C.S. Lewis both had that ability to. From the first time, I was in second grade when Mrs. Fetterly read The Hobbit to us aloud, and I can still remember her saying, "What have you got in your pockets, my precious?" I can still remember that. And it probably is a big influence on what my whole thing about read aloud is, because she did voices, and Bilbo had a voice, and Gollum had a voice, and the guys that went with Bilbo, everybody. And it was one of those things that at the end of the day, if we were, she would read aloud to us, and oh my goodness, I loved it. And sometimes after lunch recess, when we'd come back in, she would read for 20 minutes or so for us. It was just the best. Serious commitment. Exactly. 20 years of doing these letters. That's amazing for his 4 kids. Pretty spectacular. Anyway, you guys, that's it for tonight. I'm just checking on here with everything. You guys are all catching up and how it was all done. I hope I will be back next Wednesday. It's going to be Christmas Eve tomorrow. Then in Christmas Day, we're going to be heading. We probably won't head to the coast until Christmas morning, simply because it was so icy today that we couldn't pack up. We couldn't really safely. The door to the trailer was frozen. Fortunately, we keep a heater going on in there, and everything was going. But the outside door, we had to wait, kind of all that, and we had all the things going inside. But to get to where, even though the trailer's just outside the garage and on the side parked there, you still had to walk across basically a 1/4 inch of sheet ice. And it was, when the deer are slipping, I watched the deer walk across the road this morning through our rocks and try to walk across the road, and they're like, ew. I was like, okay, it's slick out there if the deer are slipping and sliding. So we waited, and so we didn't get packed up to go tomorrow. So we're going to pack tomorrow after it's melted, because today it melted, and then we'll head out that. And so we won't be back until probably Tuesday night or so, or maybe Wednesday. And so I'll be back on Wednesday night, though, for more stories. All right, guys? So until then, I skated on that in my shoes. Yeah, Bambi style. It was kind of like, and there were 4 of them, and it was just comical to watch these 4. I mean, a couple of them are kind of teenagers, and and they were just like, whoa, and they were fine going through the grass and through our big rocks, and then they got to the road, and we're kind of on a hill, and they are like, oh my gosh, Larry, you'll have to see that weather guy. I told everybody about that. We watched. He was out driving around this morning, and to see, because SeaTac was closed, everything. He was driving around Normandy Park up main streets, just kind of showing, and did a live, and he came back and he was talking about how his car was really good in the snow. It was a Tesla, had all these kind of things, He didn't slip and slide at all. He was kind of thing. He parked in front of his house He didn't pull into his driveway. He parked in front of his house. He got out, and he had a Ring door camera, so it caught all of this on camera. He got out of the car, walked around the car, walked to the house, and as he got to the door, the car that was turned off, parked in park, started to slide. And it slid just down this little incline, bounced off a parked police car, sideswiped it, and then spun and ended up down at the bottom of the hill, parked basically on the other side, up against the fence, looked like it had been parked. He actually posted the 32-second video of it on YouTube. It's just, poor guy though. He'd been out driving around for like 2 hours, no problem. Parks in front of his house, and the car just goes as soon as he walks away. It's crazy. Anyway, Bambi style, yes. Yes, send Gail our love. Tell Big Sis she can. Oh yeah, the car slid away. Yeah, it did. Yep. Oh my gosh, it was so. It's terrible that it happened, but it was comical because it was just like, oh my gosh. And he see him walking up his sidewalk, and just as he starts to get close to the door, the car on the street just bounces off a police car, of all things. Comical, but not. Yeah. Anyway, everybody, it's been great tonight. Thank you so much. I wish you all the happiest of holidays. And, it's absolutely wonderful being here with you. So have some time with your family. Blessings to all of you. Stay well, stay healthy, and take some time for yourself. And until next time, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around. But the first place you'll find it is in the mirror. There's Lupe.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds. Feel alright, we won't go home, we will just stay here downtown. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cars.
Yes, we do.
I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh,
Thanks for being here, Kristen. And Linda, Merry Christmas. Kristen, Merry Christmas. Tamara, Merry Christmas. Larry and Angie, Merry Christmas. Maria, Merry Christmas. Lupe. And Gail, if you're listening in the background, we wish you all the best. Take care, my friend. Anybody else lurking in the background? Angie, there's just... Angie.
you don't even try. Now amateur, typical. I put you on a pedestal. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes.
Yes, lots of hills.
We don't need no black cards, I just need you by my side.
Oh, thank you.
Shameless, famous, running cool.
Oh, Julia, too. Julia, if you're in the background. Yes.
Drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck.
See you next Wednesday, everybody.
Famous. We could be famous. We could be famous. We could be famous.
Kristen. Thanks, Larry. We will.